The Three Hungry Horses by Danielle Keekley and Sarah Merchant. At Oakville Farms there are many animals, and each one has a job. There are horses, cows, pigs and sheep, chickens, roosters, and goats. The chickens lay eggs, the cows and goats make milk, and the sheep make useful wool. But the horses have the biggest job of all. They help gather the other animals and bring them back from grazing in the fields, give rides to the humans, and even help with getting the soil ready for planting. The animals found paradise at Oakville. This was especially true for two young foals, Arden and Emily, who live on the farm. Arden and Emily, brother and sister, loved running around with the other animals and exploring the farmland. Their dad, Mr. Hoof, worked hard to provide them with the food and shelter on the farm. One day, while Mr. Hoof was herding the cows back after a long day in the fields, he accidentally stepped in a rabbit hole, which sent him tumbling to the ground. When he couldn't get up, he knew he'd broken his leg. "Are you gonna be okay, Dad?" asked Arden. "Are we gonna be okay?" asked Emily. Mr. Hoof was worried. He didn't want his foals going hungry. They needed lots of food to grow big and strong. Times were tough for the Hoofs after that. On the farm, the amount of food the animals received was based on how much they worked. Since Mr. Hoof wasn't doing enough to earn their normal size, the three horses got as much food as they'd usually give 3 chickens. It didn't take long to realize that the smaller amount of hay couldn't last long when shared between one adult horse and 2 growing foals. Other youngsters on the farm would often share their food with Arden and Emily, but they were still hungry. Other farm animals soon realized that giving them extra scraps was no long-term solution to the Hoofs' problem. A barn meeting was held, and Mr. Hoof explained that because he couldn't do his normal job, they were not able to earn as much food as they needed. They thanked the animals for giving them their extras, but explained how the donations don't last long enough. They still weren't getting enough food for the amount of nutrition they needed. Half of the farm animals thought the Hoofs didn't deserve more food for less work. The other half disagreed. The barn was at odds. Then the keeper of the hay spoke up. He was a wise old goat who lived on the farm longer than anyone else. "There needs to be a change in attitudes to change how we give out our food. Mr. Hoof doesn't deserve to go without enough hay to feed his family. He's trying to get back up on his feet. Besides, we have more than enough hay to feed this farm. No one should be going hungry." The farm animals knew the wise old keeper of the hay was right. They needed to change their attitudes and how they thought about the hay and Mr. Hoof's broken leg. The rest of the night was spent listening to the Hoof's experience and discussing solutions that would help prevent another animal from going hungry on Oakville Farms ever again.